Hi friends, Itheria here. Today, I'm going to share a review, or perhaps more accurately, my first impressions of a game called Tunic, which was gifted to me. Thank you! This is an isometric adventure-style game that requires you to explore and sometimes use your noggin to figure out how to get to treasure chests. There are also mobs and bosses to combat along the way. Though I've played my fair share of MMOs, it's only recently that I've been exploring other types of games, so I haven't got much to compare this game to. My friends, however, say that Tunic is similar to a classic Zelda game. The graphics are retro, but honestly, I think they still look really nice. The world is cute, and so is the little fox character that you play as. Plus, because the graphics are not hyper-realistic and detailed, Tunic doesn't place a heavy load on your PC and could be played on even the toastiest of toasters. As of right now, I have 3.8 hours of playtime in this game according to Steam. I understand that isn't a lot, but I think it was definitely enough for me to get a solid sense of the game and how it plays. With that in mind, I'm going to share both what I like and dislike about this game. I already mentioned that the world is quite cute and charming, but that isn't true for just the visuals. Tunic also has a really lovely soundtrack playing throughout the game. It's very much like a chill lo-fi beats for studying and relaxing, student emoji, music to put you in a better mood, sparkling heart emoji. Sorry, I had to. While the aesthetic of a game is certainly important, humans are historically known to have played and enjoyed games that were more pixelated than my eyesight, minus 3.75 if you were wondering. So, we can postulate that there are more important factors than graphics that keep players wanting more. For me, I appreciate good combat in a game, and I think Tunic has that. The combat system consists of physical attacks, magical attacks that work as crowd control, at least so far, dodging, blocking, and combat items such as power-ups, crowd control items, and attack items. Ever since I played Terra, may she rest in peace, I was partial to combat systems that required you to look for boss tells and time your dodges precisely. I feel like Tunic, though obviously not exactly the same, is a bit reminiscent of that type of combat system because during boss fights it is important to time your dodges properly or you will get hit and you will die. Maybe. Most stuff isn't a one-shot and this isn't Elden Ring after all. Before I move on from combat, I must take a moment to worship my favorite part of the combat in this game, which is a specific combat item: bombs. There is absolutely nothing more satisfying than watching your life trickle away as you get gangbanged by 3 mutant crocodile frogs, and when your panic reaches its peak, you throw the Hail Mary and boom! Now it is the croco frogs' turn to be on their backs. Bombs are true power. Not only can you use them to paint the world in your enemy's blood, just kidding, the game is not graphic at all, I'm just being dramatic, but since they are bombs and blow stuff up, you can also use them to solve certain puzzles. I used them to blow up a bunch of laser statue things all at once so that I wouldn't get pew-pew to death like I did before by the lasers. The game has fox statues that restore your vitals and potions and allow you to level up your stats, but I think those statues should be bombs instead because bombs are the only religion I believe in. Anywho, all games need to have some sort of reward to keep you motivated to play. Obviously, it is rewarding in itself to enjoy combat and to fell a difficult foe, or just a bitchy one, but Tunic also provides you with chests. I think what's so fun about these chests is not only do they require you to figure out how to get to them, but they feel sort of like a gamble. You never know exactly what you're gonna get, but you're always hoping it'll be something amazing, like a bomb. I'm so glad I no longer play any MMOs with loot boxes in them, but not gonna lie, there was definitely something very exciting and fun about opening dozens of them. Same with rolling for characters in games like Genshin Impact. These types of gambles in games are fun even if they suck for other reasons, they're still just stupidly entertaining. I feel like opening chests in Tunic has a similar feeling of excitement and anticipation. Sometimes you get something really cool, like a bomb, and other times you get something less cool, like a power-up. You do also get a sense of accomplishment for finally reaching that chest you saw but couldn't get to earlier in the game. Now that I have educated you all on the glory of bombs in Tunic, I mean the strong points of the game, it is time to talk about the things I wasn't too happy about. First of all, I felt like the game was a bit slow to start. I think at around 45 minutes in, I actually was feeling a little bit bored and like I wanted to stop. However, I was streaming, so I didn't stop, and the game got a lot more fun after I was able to find a sword, which opened up new pathways for me to explore since I was able to cut down the bushes blocking the path. I think part of the reason the game felt slow to start is my second con, which is the user manual. You pick up the user manual as you play, which means that by the time you actually see what the manual has to say, you may have already figured out what you're supposed to do, rendering the manual somewhat useless. What's worse is that even when you do pick up a piece of the manual that might have some useful information, almost none of it is in English. Instead, there are like 2 lines written in English and the rest are the in-game language, so not even a real language that anyone can read. You have to try and figure out what the hell it is trying to say with the pictures it has, which I gave up on almost immediately. Instead, I kinda just went with the flow of the game. It was pretty easy to pick up on, though I would sometimes get items and have no idea what they did. I'd figure it out either by just equipping the item and testing it out, or by asking the person who gifted me this game. Because I had a bit of help, I think that kept the game from being too frustrating, but I could definitely see some new users getting annoyed with the weird, hardly helpful user manual and needing to use Google or YouTube to figure things out. My last and final gripe with this game is the left bumper menu. This menu allows you to equip your weapons and combat items. Unfortunately, you can open it during combat. If you do, you'll no longer be hitting the boss, but equipping items to slots. You'll probably die if you accidentally open this menu because though you are no longer attacking the boss, oh boy, is it still attacking you. Oh no. No, wrong button! God, wrong button! Are you joking? If I'm in this menu, why can he still kill me? Oh my god. So that was super annoying and frustrating. Unfortunately, I'm a Butterfingers, and I know that in a panic, I will definitely press the left bumper instead of the right bumper again in the future. Rip me. Still, there is definitely more good than bad about this game, and it was a nice change of pace. I would definitely consider it one of my comfy games because it's fun without being too difficult or stressful to play. Elden Ring. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that the difficulty can be tuned up. I only saw normal and reduced modes in the options, so I'm not sure how replayable this game would be, but I do think if you like the Zelda games or are looking for an adventure-style game with fun combat and chill lo-fi beats, this would be worth checking out. Please consider leaving a sacrifice for Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching. Bye!